I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Moving on to public comments. And actually, I would like to say I got a lot of emails from the community today, and they were thoughtful and respectful, and it was a good way to just interact. So I just want to say I appreciate that if you were one of the ones that sent emails. So, public comments.
Ken, prayer.
Thank you. I'd just like to pray for the schools and this meeting, if I may. Father, I thank you for our schools, for the precious cargo of children that you love so much. Father, I ask for the light of heaven to shine over the hallways and classrooms, the teachers, administrators, custodians, and most of all the children entrusted to their care. I ask for the influence of heaven to be felt in every meeting, every consultation, every decision, that whether they realize it or not, your love would be known in the hearts and minds of all those who have taken on this great responsibility. And so we trust your goodness and kindness, your provision and protection to be present and revealed as this year progresses. And we pray it all in the name of the High King of all heaven and earth, Jesus Christ the Savior. Amen.
Tracy, I got B on here.
Thank you. Matt Levy.
I feel a little bit silly, but I thank you for rerunning the levy. I think that's super important. I speak in favor of the levy. As a provider in Grangeville, I've been here 14 years. I don't have any plan on going anywhere. But I just want to say that all of my kids will have graduated from Grangeville High School. And so that's something that we're very proud of. And they've gone on to do specific careers in which one day, who knows, we might be able to see another 12th generation come back in and practice medicine here in Grangeville. I truly believe that what provides a community and what supports a community are three things: a place to worship, a good hospital, and great schools. And so whether we realize it or not, we're losing two providers. We've already lost one, Dr. Matthews, and we're losing Dr. Peterson. And while the school is not the main reason that they're leaving, it becomes one on the list of why they leave. And so I think it's super important, and I'm glad that we're rerunning the levy. And I hope that we can get that passed, and I would encourage all of you that have signed up to vote and are in favor of the levy that you make time on your schedule for those dates that they're there to vote early. I encourage you to get out there and vote early because it's super important. It means a lot, particularly in attracting new talent, new providers, because we can attract older providers that don't bring anything but don't want to stay around for very long. So we become a stepping stone. So for the future, for the hospital, for our community, let's support the levy and keep this thing going. So thank you.
Thank you.
Will Levy.
Good morning, members of the school board, parents, and community members. My name is William Told. I'm president of Turning Point USA here at GHS. Turning Point is an active organization within our school. Our primary goal is to encourage informed discussions about ideas and current events and the importance of civic engagement. We encourage critical thinking, provide a platform for diverse perspectives, and work to educate students on the principles of free markets, limited governments. In addition to our educational activities, we are involved in several community service projects. I am here tonight to talk about the importance of the upcoming levy. The failure of the levy would have a negative impact on all the schools in our community. Extracurricular activities are important elements to every student's education, whether athletics, clubs, or music. Passing the levy is crucial for maintaining these opportunities, ensuring that organizations like ours can continue to thrive and contribute to our school's success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Connor and Abigail want to talk about choir.
I'll just come right here. Is that okay?
That's great.
Me personally, while I wrote choir on the paper, I did want to also talk about the importance of passing the levy as well. With the levy passing, choir will stay as an activity at the school with engagement beyond just the classroom. And I just kind of wanted to talk about how that's affected me as a student, how it'll affect students to come. When I first moved here in December 4 years ago, I had never sang before in my life. And entering choir class, and besides learning just how to sing and note values, anything else, it taught me more of who I was as a person and how to meet with people and practice for things and work hard for things and essential skills that everybody should know. People older than me, people younger than me, people my age should know and have going into another chapter in their life. And with that, I just want to emphasize the importance that we pass this levy. Please vote it. Please pass it. It's important. All the things in it are important, and I just wanted to emphasize the importance of this program in specific. Thank you.
I'm Abigail. I'm a dual enrolled student at GHS, and one of the things that choir as an activity, it's had a positive experience or a positive impact on my education, not only with communication but as well as time management. Because in choir, you are to communicate with your classmates not only about on the music, but about like the work you have to do, what you have to focus on, and when it comes to time management, you also have to complete assignments within choir, whether that is like an exit ticket or whether you have to work on your parts in music, and you really just have to focus and get the habit of studying and putting in your time into doing all of the work that you have, whether it's just like general education or other activities here at the school. And I think that a lot of those, not only music, but as well as sports and all the other kinds of activities that the school has here, is very important to those, for us students. It is very important that we have that in our lives, and not only does it teach us basic things such as time management and communication, it teaches us teamwork, it helps us socialize, it helps us gather together, and we also get to share our talents and our passions with other students and other people, young and old. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. All right. Moving on to consent agenda. Is everybody okay with that? I'll have.
BJ had clarification
I already fixed it.
That was fixed. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Anybody?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Reports, superintendent reports.
I just have a few things to talk about that I've been working on for the last few weeks, month. The first thing is that when, maybe not everybody is aware of it, but at some point before last meeting, I asked both trustees from both boards to sign a document requesting that the Idaho Tax Commission and the Idaho County Assessor and the commissioners would split the first Forest Fund check so that we would have monies for operating expenses in our two new districts. What I discovered when I took that down there was that, and I won't be blaming anyone, but at some point we did not file the correct paperwork to separate our district with the Idaho State Tax Commission, and that was supposed to have been done prior to December 31st. People have been asking me about this throughout the community, so I want to assure everyone that we got it taken care of. However, it was really touch and go. So apparently after the election had been canvassed, it should have gone to the Idaho State Tax Commission. That step was somehow missed. So we started getting busy. We got the documents. We worked with the Idaho County Court Office, Kim Nuxall, Kathy Ackerman, super helpful to us. All the ladies in the district office worked their tails off on that. And we found out we needed to get some maps and we needed to get some documents, and we got all that turned in. And then it was discovered that there were some typos in the consolidation plan, and unfortunately they were in the map section. So then we worked very hard with the State Department of Education to get those fixed, and we got those done on the day that we were told they had to be in at the very last minute because of how complex it was and how many people we were calling. Connie worked very, very hard to communicate with different people. We took it to the courthouse, and their first response was, "These are not originals, so we will not be doing those." And then Connie gave them her sad face. And and we had been working with the State Department of Education, with Debbie Critchfield's office, with the maps, with the State Tax Commission, with Kathy Acker. We had just spent a ton of time on that, and they said, "We will take it," and we came back and we're super excited. So we are going to be a split district as soon as this goes through. It has been filed with the Idaho State Tax Commission. And right now Kim is working on breaking all those maps apart, so it should all be okay. If you've heard about this and you've heard there was concerns, there were, but we got it fixed. So that's the first thing that we got done. The next thing I'll talk about is the checking accounts. We got bank accounts open with Freedom Northwest and Columbia. Those are finished. We are in the process of working with Cottonwood Community Credit Union and Wells Fargo. Those are both in process, and we're not quite done with those yet, but we will soon. In addition, I just want to speak to the Forest Funds money. So I got a letter from the Idaho State Tax Commission and from Commissioner Ted Lindsley, both confirming that Mountain View School District as a whole will receive $1,046,818.10 in the next couple weeks. In the first Forest Fund distribution. We'll get another distribution in June and then another one in a year from now. And when we use the deconsolidation plan and the agreed date for this specific fund was to be divided by per pupil, not by ADA, not by a million other different equations. And so we picked a date in the year at the beginning when the enrollment was probably pretty steady, and so the percentage on that division is 73.88 for Grangeville and 26.12 for CV. So CV will get $273,428, and Grangeville will get $773,389. So that's just the first distribution, and our plan is, because it's going to come in as one, we will split those ourselves as soon as we receive the money, and so both districts will have operating money to use to be able to make their own decisions going forward. The next issue is that Vinny and I have spoken, and we would like to start, at least at the last meeting, there was some concern about when one board or the other decides to spend money. Right now, all of our money is together, and we want to make sure that the public feels like we're doing what we should with that money and being fair and honest. So Vinny and I are going to work to do two different things. One is to create the same sort of spreadsheet that we have with the school modernization money, where we're tracking expenditures by both districts so that decisions can be made independently of each other, and then we can all feel good about the decisions each district makes. The second step is, as soon as these accounts are completely finished, we will start working immediately to separate the funds in different parts of our budget that can easily be split. It appears that we will need to maintain an M&O fund for probably a year as 244 to continue to pay for things out of that fund. So we can decide how much we want to leave in there, and then of course we can contribute if we need to from each individual district as we come to it. Let's see, what else? Oh, if anybody on the board is interested, the Legislative Roadshow is in, I think, April 14th. That's what I have written down here. In Lewiston. And so if anyone wants to go with me, I'd love to have somebody visit. I think Tyler went with me a year ago or so, but it's all the changes in legislation that will affect funding, affect how we manage our schools. So any board member who's interested in going, that's a great experience. It takes about, I think we got done about 1:30 or 2 last time. And that's all I have as far as 244 board report from me.
Thank you, Amanda. Amanda did a good job. She covered pretty much what we've been working on. We did go back and visit more about staffing, contracts, MOUs, what that can look like, and how we can use current district office staff, shared staff in that regard under a contract MOU. So we're getting closer to shoring that part up. We had some brief discussion about trying to save money in terms of potential curriculum sharing in terms of books and inventory that way. So that was a conversation that came up, and just food for thought. We discussed letters of intent at our admin team meeting, so for teachers and staff members, they're wanting to know where they sit, where they're at, what's going to happen with them. So that's a normal part of the process about this time of year, and so we're working on those as a district together and then in our own individual districts. But a lot of that comes back to that shared MOU contract information. And yeah, and then CV did hire a individual to work as a business manager to work with us and to look at the books with Amanda, Connie, and to start building a CV side, but also just kind of get information on where we're at. And part of that's getting to where looking deeper into salary, or excuse me, teacher placements for salary apportionment. And I say that I've found some areas, teachers, staff members, that their years of service aren't actually correct. And in salary apportionment world with certified teachers, you take the average of those staff salaries, and that's the apportionment we get. So despite common thought or what's out there, a teacher that's been around for years on the salary schedule, the state doesn't necessarily just pay that salary, that career ladder placement. It's an average of them. So when you have you take your first year and your lowest salary and your highest salary, average them out, and that's where salary apportionment comes from. And so I just wanted to clear that up a little bit, because sometimes individuals think that it's a pass-through, more might you say, on the career ladder placement. So that's all I had. Thank you.
Very good. And I will say our superintendents have been working really hard to like separate finances and all that stuff, and it's been wonderful because it gives us a little more freedom, and they've just been doing a really good job. So really appreciate that. Financial report, Connie.
I want to go over, this is my, I call this my fund report, and I just wanted to emphasize that all the numbers that are accounts that you see in green.
Sorry. Okay, now can you hear me? Okay, all of the accounts that you see in green are in what we call our LGIP accounts, local government investment pool. So it's kind of like a savings account. They sit in there and they earn just under 4%. And then you see Fund 290, this one. This is our food service account that literally sits in a bank. That's what we have in a bank. And then the ones that are, I don't know if we call that orange, those are our federal grants. That is money that has been awarded to us, and we get that, we spend that money, and then I do a drawdown, and they pay us back, or they pay us a drawdown. So that isn't money that we have, that's money that we've been awarded, and that we then get reimbursed for. So someone had a question, and so I just wanted to clarify what we have in the bank, what we have in our local government investment pool, and which funds are federal grants.
I think it's important to notice that like the child nutrition, that's a large balance, but we pay out of that every year at the end of the year, so that will draw down at the end of the year as well to cover our child nutrition costs for the year.
Okay, this is a revenue portion of my report. So far, we're at 71%. Right now is like towards the end of the year, and we'll start getting our special distributions to finish off the rest of our funding. This is the expenditures part of my report, and we are doing really well. We are at for certified, we're only at 48%. As you see, for administrative, we're at 58%. Non-certified, 56%, so around just under 60% for everything. The only account I have that we are over is our district admin business office supplies. We've had higher expenses this year because we have kind of 3 boards, lots of board packets, and we had to hire ISBA to do 2 superintendent searches. And if anyone has questions about this, I can dig further and give specific examples. So we're at 47% in our expenditures overall, so we are doing really good.
Ahead of the curve. Good.
Did you have any specific questions? I thought someone had a question. No?
Thanks. Moving on to business. Deconsolidation. Any new things on that? We're just kind of moving forward.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that we both received our Chartwell's bids, and we will probably discuss those in our own separate board meetings. But if anybody's interested, there are boxes of the bids back here. So if you would like to grab a bid and look at what it looks like, it's a binder like this. And it will show exactly what they're offering. There's some menus, there's all sorts of information in there. So we had to do separate requests for bid from the company. We have no other companies bidding on this at this point, so we have one bid. The only other option that you can do, of course, is to not offer hot lunch, and I am not recommending that. I am just telling you what your choices are. So if you're interested, you can grab a copy of this. This is Grangeville, these are Kuski's, and then I will discuss it a little bit during our separate board meeting.
Okay.
No, I won't. She says I can't talk about that.
And just so you guys, I mean, you may already know, but the reason why we're separating finances and all that stuff is we're trying to operate more independently as time goes on. So that's why we'll do what we need to do together, and then we'll separate into our own respective districts. Approval of transportation cameras?
I have one question real quick before we move on from deconsolidation. It was just one thing I was looking at today. So do we have a timeline, or did we establish a timeline for when we're going to have our independent websites for our districts?
Michael?
So I requested with our web provider to make 2 separate websites. So they kind of helped us out, and when we contracted for our existing website, they made an addendum to add the 2 new websites without cost, which is awesome, except for I've pushed them a couple of times now to do it and haven't seen a lot of proof. So yes, they should have been done already.
Okay.
They're not, and I don't have an official timeline yet, but it's like something that I'm pushing.
It will happen. Okay. The reason I was asking is because since we are transitioning to operating more independently, we're going to be posting like our own meeting agendas and all of that kind of stuff. So job openings, all that kind of stuff, would be nice to have them posted. Okay. That was it.
Okay. Good. Now, approval of transportation cameras. What are,
I can speak on that.
Yeah, could you speak on that? That'd be great.
So at CV, we have 3 buses that have transportation cameras that are ineffective and not working. Roseanne, our bus supervisor, got some quotes for it, and they're in your board packet for 3 cameras, 3 buses, and they that is at 85% reimbursable by the state. So that value, just so you know, it's not the value you see in front of you is not the full value that we would pay. It is 85% reimbursable.
Okay. You can see the value, but so we need to take action on this?
Yes, please. I think it was right at $8,500.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we provide the funds to get the bus cameras fixed.
Second? Second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Moving on, approval of additional coach. I'll turn it over to you again.
What I have is, in the past, we've had a matrix that indicates how many coaches we get for any sport. Yeah. And so what we have is that the top number of sports coaches we could have for track was 3, and that we got that number. So at 8, you get 1, or you get 2 in track. At 24, you can have the 3rd. However, we have 70 kids out for track, and I don't feel like 70 kids are easily kept under eye by 3 adult people when there's javelins and shot puts and discuses. So I have created a new matrix that would include the increase of anything over, I think I put 65, but I thought that might be, anyway. If you guys would take a look at this, what I'm asking for is that we could hire an additional assistant coach this year. We don't necessarily have to adopt this matrix today, but I created one so you could see what I'd like it to look like in the Grangeville School District going forward, and I want you guys to, everyone to look and see. The only changes I made were, for soccer, if they hit 45, I would like us to approve a third coach for both soccers, because I feel like that is a sport that needs to have some good monitoring just as much as football. And then for track, they would be able to go up to 4. I didn't change any other numbers on here. I just updated the document so you could see what I was suggesting. So I'm not necessarily asking you to adopt this today, but I am asking that we could take on another assistant coach for track to make sure we have all the kids safe.
And to clarify, we have 3 coaches now, and
Yes.
you want a 4th one.
I do.
Makes sense to me, especially when we get 3 coaches for basketball and there's 24 people.
Right, it's
I mean,
just, it's
like a
done.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve an additional track coach at GHS.
Second. Okay. Further discussion?
Who seconded? Thank you.
Awesome. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No, that'd be-
Thanks.
Yeah, don't forget. Pete.
She's here.
Moving on to
Everybody heard you.
approval of independent contractor agreement, school board clerk, because we're operating a little differently now. We're separating. Do we,
You don't have to adopt it, all right?
any discussion or a motion on that?
I make a motion that we approve the independent contractor agreement for school board clerk.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Informational items. You already talked about Iowa State Tax Commission, policy 5480?
Oh, I have
Wanna
one
talk
other,
about
can
that?
I say it or
Oh,
not?
yeah, go for it.
Only that, I want everyone to be aware that IDLA is kind of on the cutting board at the state level, and so this is just an informational item that it looks like IDLA is really going to change with House Bill 918. If you're interested, it looks like enrollment for homeschools, private schools, and all K-5 education is going to be cut. There won't be any more online driver's ed courses, so those will all need to be in person in some local space. No middle school courses will be funded unless they are credit recovery. Currently, about 80% of IDLA middle schools take electives, and so those would no longer be offered at all. And there will be options for high schools, but those will all be on families to pay for. So if you're interested in learning about legislation and whether you want to see how this goes, it will impact small school districts that utilize IDLA to meet their graduation requirements because, and the other issue is that we have some students, and I think at CV, that actually have gotten their associate's degree through IDLA, and so this bill would limit the number of classes a student could take while in high school through their Advanced Opportunities Fund to 7. So if students were working towards an associate's degree in a smaller school, they will now need to pay for those additional classes on their own if this bill goes through tomorrow.
Amanda, what was that House bill?
918.
Is there a way that we can write our representatives and they could reverse this course, or is it?
I myself have written several letters to them, and so that I've already done that. I've also done it with a coalition of other superintendents in the region to ensure that they know what we're thinking. I would encourage all of the school board to do some writing tomorrow.
Do you hear that, B?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's it?
That's mine.
Well, we are going to adjourn this meeting, and then we will separate and resume in.
Oh, we got one more on here.
Oh, policy, oh, sorry. Policy 5480. Anybody want to talk about it? We're just striking it.
Well, I could speak to why it's on the agenda. So at the last board meeting, when we were adopting policy, one of the policies that came up for discussion was policy 5480 and whether each new school district wanted to adopt that policy. The policy referenced some information that no longer exists. So at the time when the policy was initially adopted, the Idaho State Department of Education were willing to give $900 to every person with a leadership role in a district. That funding no longer exists, and leadership premiums from that name no longer exist. But the policy has remained active for 244. It was failed to be adopted by the two new districts last month, but it is still an active policy for this District 244. But those funds no longer exist. What supersedes it is that in the master agreement, which we all work under in both districts for the remainder of this year, is that a $500 leadership premium is identified as what we will pay our staff, and we are bound to do so because we honor master agreements. So that is the current funding in place to make sure that our teachers who take on a leadership role still receive compensation for that extra work. It's not $900, but it is the newer policy of the two.
Okay. Now, everybody good? I will take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Make it a second.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll resume in 10 minutes.
So just so you are aware, whomever is the visiting board will go to a different room to finish their meeting. So in this case, we have set up our lovely friends from the Clearwater Valley School District in room 105. So if that's the board meeting you're interested in attending, you can wander down that way. There's chairs and tables and everything set up, and 246 will remain here. When we go to Kuski, 246 will go to a classroom, and 245 will remain in the primary room.
Thank you.
Thank you.